welcome back. You're still watching a CNBC TV 18 special on the NASSCOM India Leadership Forum. Now, on the sidelines of the forum, we caught up with Cognizant to understand the outlook ahead, how they plan to overcome the protectionist concerns that are weighing down the Indian IT sector and the road as far as expansion is concerned. More importantly, they spoke to us, speaking for the first time on this issue, on the alleged bribery charges that the company had to face a year ago and the investigation ahead. Listen in.
If you look mid to long term, we are quite optimistic about the growth prospects. Our market opportunity has never been larger.
So if you had to look at the next 1 or 2 years, or even if you look at a medium-term time frame, by when can you say that growth numbers can go back to the, if not 20, at least higher double-digit growth? 15, 16, even 14% for that matter.
Yeah, I think it's when clients start to become truly digital businesses at their core. That's going to happen unevenly. We're starting to see it happen across different industries and different geographies. And so when the competitive pressure is there that they have to do it, then we're starting to see that change at scale. And look, common sense will tell you, this explosion of devices that we're seeing with the Internet of Things, this explosion of data, this is a technology-centric world that we're moving to. And IT is going from a support function to really core to the business. And so as we see that, I think we will return to rather healthy growth rates.
So by when? 2 years, 3 years? What do you estimate?
If I had that, I would be in a different line of work. But I think that we're starting to see, for example, in banking, certain money center banks are really starting to reinvest around their digital backbone. Manufacturers have to go into smart products, and so whether it's in automotive, airlines, consumer products, even in certain forms of retail, we're starting to see this move rather quickly now.
Okay. So would it be fair to say, though, that 2016 nonetheless was a year which will be better forgotten?
No, I think it's the year to be best remembered. And I say that, not to joke around. These are times when firms become either stronger or weaker. And I think when you really assess what's going on, pay attention to why things would slow down in certain portions of the business, those are messages that your market are trying to give you. And so do you really listen to those as an organization? And I think the firms that truly listen to it will benefit from the long term. So let's not forget about that year. I think we need to remember it quite well.
Okay, fair enough. So 2017, we're at the beginning. What's the initial sense that you're getting from clients? The sense that Gartner, Forrester of the world have said is that it will be either absolutely flat or IT spending will be marginally lower. What are your clients telling you?
Yeah, I think when you look in aggregate, that's probably right. Underneath that, though, we see the big shift going on. So there's the slowdown in legacy and then the acceleration in digital. So that's where firms need to position themselves for that shift. From a Cognizant perspective, the first quarter calendar of 2017 is certainly a healthier, more stable environment than it was in 2016.
In 2016.
Yes.
So 2017 would be a better year than 2016.
Well, it's still early. I mean, we're early February, but at least what we can say in the first half of the first quarter, in our context, we're seeing things starting to really stabilize around what we see in the business.
Okay. So if I look at your full year guidance of 7.9 to 10%, it's a wide-ish range. If I look at your numbers, it's 8.6%. On the higher end, it would mean that 2017 would be better. But is this a cautious guidance in that case that you've given?
Yeah, it is. It is. And the caution is really driven by what we experienced as a firm in 2016. We, in terms of, had to bring the number down over the course of the year. So we are being appropriately cautious as we enter the year. And I think is also a result of what we're seeing across the industry as well.
So it would be fair to say that if you were to grab that digital opportunity, if the prospective orders were to come in, you would be able to inch your guidance higher over the next few quarters as and when the year progresses? Hypothetically, yes, but we're comfortable where our guidance is right now. Okay, fair enough. Let's talk about the kind of orders that you're looking at right now. Digital, for the first time you announced that 23% of your revenues are digital. Help me understand what is the prospective growth that you can see in 2017 based on the visibility in terms of pipeline that you have right now.
Yeah, it's for us, digital falls into three categories, and we've really realigned the whole business around digital. So Cognizant is all about digital. The first is the customer interface. It's what we call digital business. How do we help our clients build new value propositions, go-to-market strategies, channels, smart products, and that's all around digital business. We're starting to see great growth there. A second area is around digital operations, and so this is when clients recognize their process infrastructure is actually wrong for the digital world. And so things are manually driven. They need to go into platforms. They need to be automated. And so that's the second area. A lot of people call it robotic process automation, intelligent process automation. And then the third is the technology backbone. As I was saying, in this era of data and devices, it all needs to be rewired. So those are the three areas that we're going after, and they're moving at different paces. Where we're seeing the most movement right now is on the digital business side. So whether it's going through virtual channels or building smart products, we're seeing a lot of activity in those areas.
So can you give me some a concrete picture as to what the prospective pipeline is like in terms of the orders that you're chasing? What is the size of these orders? How large is the order book as far as the digital contracts are concerned, or even the larger, broader traditional contracts are concerned?
Yeah, it's hard to give a specific number, but I can tell you that they've been growing significantly. And what I mean by that is digital deals as recent as 24 months ago, we saw a lot of pilots. These would be $3, $5 million initiatives where clients were just trying to understand how these digital technologies and capabilities would work in their context. The TCV now in many of these has shot up by orders of magnitude above that. So we're now starting to see...
For instance, by how much has it gone up? From a TCV perspective?
You know, it depends what a client is going after, but you can see a TCV of $50 million up to $300 million in terms of some of the digital projects that we're starting to see.
We're far away from touching the $1 billion, $2 billion deal figure yet on digital, aren't we? Okay,
I think we are, but at the same time, you see some clients are making those commitments themselves. You know, Toyota is a great example where Toyota committed to their Silicon Valley Center more than $1 billion around digital. So, you know, that's the direct investment they're making. To your point, I think to see clients make that investment with their suppliers and providers, it'll be a few years down the line, but we certainly believe that's going to happen.
Okay. Let me then ask you about the Trump administration. A lot of talk about protectionism. You're at the heart of where the conversations happen. Firstly, the new visa bill. The increase that has been proposed is significant, from $60,000 to almost 1.3. Almost a double increase that you're looking at. What I want to understand from you is what is the impact or estimated impact in terms of margins? Analysts have given rough estimates for Indian IT players, for the TCS, Wipro, Infosys of the world, 2.5 to 3% at least in terms of a margin impact. Would that be a fair estimate?
We've modeled it out for ourselves. We've modeled it out for the competitors, for the whole market. Some of those numbers would be correct, but this is all hypothetical. You know, it's a dangerous business we've learned to be in of trying to predict politics. And you know that.
But you have to be prepared.
Oh, totally, absolutely. And you know, so we have run through the modeling, the different scenarios. So we've been very active in terms of how we would react ourselves as an organization, how we think the industry needs to react. We've been very active in terms of conversations in Washington. Last year alone, we hired more than 4,000 United States workers. So those are things that are certainly going to continue for us. But you know, where this ultimately lands, there really is still a relatively wide range of scenarios, and so who knows where we'll ultimately be.
You know, I want to run you through a brokerage report that I came across, which is talking about how Cognizant is right now at a point where it is ready to grab market opportunity, but it was only cautious on one account. And this is what they say. The tone and early agenda of the Trump administration suggests a hostile stance towards existing foreign worker visa programs. We understand that more than half of Cognizant's US-based employees are on visa, And while it's difficult to handicap the likelihood of any particular outcome, any changes that limit the availability of mandate meaningful salary increases for visa holders could have an adverse impact on Cognizant. How would you react to that? Do you agree that there is a hostile environment right now in the U.S.?
No, I would not characterize it as hostile. Look, our pipeline for us as a company has only been improving recently. We feel quite confident about where the business is right now. So, in aggregate, we aren't seeing that. So, to me, that sounds...
So U.S. clients are not right now fearful of doling out contracts?
No. I mean, hostile, fearful, those are strong words. They always have risks they need to manage and mitigate. I think they're certainly paying attention to this issue, but it's one that the clients that we deal with, these are multinationals, very sophisticated companies. One banking client was quite funny. We were just testing them and getting their perspective on all of this, and they just laughed. They said, "You think you're dealing with regulation?" They're like, "Look at the regulations we deal with." So clients are certainly obviously paying attention to it and being responsible, but I think that type of language is fairly extreme and not what we're saying.
You don't think it's as extreme yet? No. It's not. It's still conjecture at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. As far as the ongoing investigation, as far as the India business is concerned on improper payments, you have recently made a declaration on how the amount is about $6 million, which is $1 million higher than what was anticipated earlier. Can you take me through? I understand that this is a sensitive issue and the investigations are ongoing, but so far, can you share with us what has been the finding of that investigation and where does India stack up right now as far as that investigation is concerned?
Yeah, it's ongoing. It is sensitive, so there's only so much I can say, and I hope you can appreciate that.
Yeah.
But this has now been going on 5-6 months. It's been very thorough. So we self-reported. It's been driven by our audit committee. We've had outside lawyers driving through this, and there hasn't been a stone unturned. So it has been very, very thorough. And you're right. What we reported several months ago was approximately $5 million. Through looking at everything, that grew to approximately $6 million. But I think relative, when people look at FCPA investigations and the relative scale of these, these things are never good. It's something that we've taken very seriously and candidly we've been upset about. But at the same time, it is contained, and it is one that hopefully, as the process goes, we can get it behind us. But this is an ongoing investigation, ongoing process.
How long will the investigation take? By when will it be completed?
I don't know. And that is really for others to say, because the facts are just going to lead the teams where they lead them. But where it is to date, we're feeling much more comfortable about where it is today than where it was, say, just a couple of months ago. So I think we're making very good progress on it. Okay.
When you say it has been contained, what are the remedial measures that have been put into place? And has the route been identified? Have the people associated to that been removed from the company?
Yes, every manager involved is no longer operating with the company, so that's number one.
How many managers were identified?
I'm not at liberty to share, but it was a fairly contained number. But no, it's subsequent to this. The good news is, in this chapter, there are processes and procedures worked. It was identified in the system. It was self-reported. It accelerated very quickly to the audit committee. We were very open about what occurred. So the tripping mechanisms, if you would, they worked. But again, we've got to have zero tolerance on this stuff. So we've redoubled our efforts internally around compliance, around training on these issues to ensure that all of our associates know.
I'm sure there would have been concern coming in from clients as well. How did you tackle that? How did you tackle the client concerns or on future or current contracts for that matter?
No, the good news is we didn't lose any business over this issue.
You didn't?
No. So clients have been very understanding of it. The issue was for us just being very proactive. We had nothing to hide on it. We were very direct. We were proactive, engaged with our clients, shared the news with them, the status every step of the way. So I think that's really helped with our clients.
With that, it's time to wrap up this CNBC TV 18 special show from all of us here at CNBC TV 18. Goodbye and thanks for watching.